Hey, hello everybody. Thanks for tuning to a special edition Steelers pre-snap. I'm Luther Dupree. I got my partner as always, Claudio Rosano, a Hall of Famer, and we're waiting for Smokin Jim to connect with us. But as usual, he's on a little CP time. Hopefully, he'll jump up. Maybe about 5 minutes. He'll get on the screen with us. Claudio, big loss last week. I had it wrong. I thought we could get the Ravens, and we should have. If Mitch isn't playing for the other team and turning the ball over and turning back to Chicago, Mitch. I'll take the L on this one. Costly victory, probably cost them any chance at a playoffs. What were your thoughts, Claudio?
Well, you took the L, but really, who would have thought you didn't think about Pickett getting hurt?
Oh,
So I agree with you that if he does start, he probably wouldn't have thrown 3 interceptions. I did say he was going to throw a pick or two, but I didn't think it would have been like Trubisky. Although the thing I did like about Trubisky is that he went deep, open it up a little bit. They should do that playbook with Pickett. But as far as the game is concerned, when you're playing against a third string quarterback, I believe, correct? Was he third string?
Yeah, well, eventually they got to the third string quarterback.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. You're right. So it was a game that they should have won. I think going into it, whenever you have Lamar Jackson not playing, the key piece to the team, your confidence has to rise, and they didn't pull it off. And that really hurt. At the end of the day, a win's a win, whether you win ugly or win pretty. That was a game that they should have won, maybe ugly, but they didn't. And I think I'm going to get to this in my huddle, but I think the teams that win games when they're not supposed to, or when there's adversity, or when it's ugly, those are the special teams. I think each week the Steelers are showing that they're not a special team.
Oh, exactly, Claudio. And one thing I want to talk about is the defense. While they didn't give up a lot of points, the run defense was absolutely pitiful. J.K. Dobbins, of course, he would put this game to come back, and he was running good, like he never missed a beat. Edwards came in and got some run. Even their backup quarterback Huntley had some key runs before he got knocked out. But very disappointing loss. I thought they could have done much better. And, say that again, Claudio?
Dobbins having a good game.
Yeah, I thought so, but I didn't think he'd have this good of a game. But he was running all over the Steelers. Only gave up 19 points. If Mitch doesn't throw those interceptions, we win with a couple field goals.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the game plan. 2 of them he steered down the tight end, Moo, right over the middle, and it was just embarrassing performance by him. So bad that Mason Rudolph got some first string snaps this week. So we may see him again because I could see Mitch throwing another pick. And once he throws one, he throws in bunches.
So you brought up a good point about the game plan. What I don't understand is whenever you're facing a team that isn't going to score a lot of points, maybe you don't need to go as deep all the time. Maybe use Trubisky's running ability. Maybe go back to the can of the jet sweep, short, quick passes instead of the craziness, because all you need against Baltimore last week was better field position to get your field goal kicker the opportunity. It seems like, when it's cold out, they're wearing shorts. When it's warm out, they're wearing a jacket. It seems like there's not a good, intelligent, common sense game plan. Am I wrong in saying that?
Well, I didn't like their game plan, especially when Mitch went in there. I think the running game was moving a little bit. They get down the field, get in the red zone, then they start having them. And he's only looking in the middle of the field where the Ravens have about 4 guys there. 2 interceptions to a linebacker in the middle of the field. I think I would have liked to see them go to George Pickens on the outside. He was burning Marlon Humphreys all game, and they got away from it. They didn't really shift a lot of their defense. I think they could have done a lot more with Pickens that game. He was ready to run, and they just got away from it. Just real disappointing, Claudio. And then we saw Ravens. They just lost to the Browns last night. So we see they don't put up a lot of points. Just don't turn the ball over, and you win the game. But you got to put that in Mitch's pocket. Tomlin kind of said as much. That was a Mitch Trubisky loss, another one. Just don't turn the ball over. Even better, take a sack or throw it away. But we saw the limitations of Michigan, and Jim might get his wish. Mason Rudolph might get a start today, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, if he does start or does play, I think there'll be that burst of energy after a while. But like I've said on this show and our other show, Steel City Sports World, I liken it to Sean Rodriguez, the former Pirate utility player. If he would bat 300 sometimes a year, he was pretty good. He would have some or splash moments, as they like to call it, and he did pretty good. But if he batted 350 400 times, not good. I think a guy like Rudolph, if he plays too much, he's going to get exposed. Trubisky is good, I think, for a spark, and that's it. There's certain guys who are good for 200-300 at bats. Once they get 350 plus, not good. Some guys are good for 600 at bats, but those are the stud players. So I think that maybe if Trubisky gets off to a slow start today, I think they'll put Mason Rudolph in. That may, raise the level a little bit. But, as they say, hope is not a strategy.
Right. Hey, well, we don't know where Jim is, so we're going to go ahead and jump right to our next topic. Claudio, what's your huddle up, buddy?
There's an old saying in real estate. What are the three most important things in real estate? Good location, good location, good location. I came up with what are the three most important things in coaching, in business, and in life. And I always said good people, good people, good people. But I'm changing that to three most important things in on team, sports, business, life is the right people, the right people, the right people. Jeff Saturday, wonderful guy. I'm sure he's a terrific guy. He's not the right person for that job in Indianapolis. Matt Rule, I'm sure he's a good guy. Not the right person. Steve Wilkes is the right person for that job. The Pittsburgh Steelers as a whole, I don't know if they have the right people to win. Not necessarily talent-wise, okay? There's some studs. There's some people there with some amazing skills, like a Chase Claypool, amazing skills. Whenever you pick somebody in high school, or even in my case, which I've been very fortunate over the years, yes, you do some recruiting, but for the most part, you get what you get and you make the best of it. I've been blown through the roof, blessed to have the right people, good people, and the right people to coach at all my stops, including Carnegie Mellon. The Steelers, whenever they go to the combines, and don't worry about the Wonderlic and like, talk to a guy, look him straight in the eye. Yes, he has to be good, obviously, but is he going to be the right fit for your team, for your coaching staff? Are your assistant coaches the right? I'm sure Canada and all these other guys are great people, okay? But you have to have the right people. And finally, I want to end up with this. Brian Flores, in my opinion, is the right person to be on the Steelers, but they're using him in the wrong way. I liked him when he was with Miami. I liked him as an assistant before, okay? But I think, number one, I think he's head coach material, but I think they have to utilize that man. Get his tools, use him properly. So to encompass everything I said, the right people. The Steelers need the right people. This year is done. Maybe, yes, try to win, whatever, but really figure out who the right people are to make this organization win in the future. And remember I said before, Luther, Yankees, Lakers, I used to say the Knicks, but and the Steelers and the Cowboys should never have losing seasons. In the Celtics should never have losing seasons. Okay, they should always be right there because of who they are, who that organization is. But you have to have the right people.
All right, like that, Claudio. Two things I want to talk about, Claudio. One being, I wish Smokin Jim was here, because I told him that Jeff Saturday was a horrible hire. He's getting worse and worse by the week. We saw against the Steelers, time management was an issue. When you don't come up through the ranks, you take some shortcuts, there's some things that are wrong. Yesterday, he blew the biggest lead in NFL history. He had the Vikings on the road. and somehow they lost a 33-0 lead. Complete disaster, and it happens. There's no way you can let that lead go. Vikings didn't have anything. They were turning the ball over, and the team just fell apart. He couldn't pull them together. Horrible, horrible loss. Terrible hire. I'm glad he's losing. I don't like the way he came out of first take and then just got handed a job. I didn't like it. On the other hand, Deion Sanders took a loss in the Celebration Bowl yesterday. Excellent game. And his son, Shador Sanders, 5 touchdowns, 4 passing, 1 running, and then the way they lost it. Tight end has it in the end zone and drops the ball. Wow. It was exciting. I would have liked to have seen him win, but I want to talk about all the successes that he's had at the program. I mean, $30 million in. Number 1 player in the nation coming to an HBCU. Things that haven't been done. Now it's set up for Jackson State and TC Taylor to continue on. I see Deion doing great things at Colorado. They're only 1-11 this past year. I see them getting at least 6, 7 wins. He's going to bring in a talent. He's going to put good people around him, and he's going to change the culture. Already, there's hundreds of players trying to get into Colorado right now, even a couple from our area. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully we can get an exclusive. But yes, you have some coaches that have come up through the ranks that put great people around them, and then you have other ones like Jeff Saturday. He got rushed in there, missed a bunch of steps, and we're seeing a lot of mistakes in action. The Colts are just a horrible franchise with a drunk, clueless owner, so they got a long way to go. So any Colts fans, you're not going to be good anytime soon. This is the 3rd, 4th years in a row they switch quarterbacks. It's just a bad system right now. As we get ready to move on to the next segment, Claudio, how about our Steelers D versus the Panthers offense?
Numbers and the reputation the Steelers have, and is the defense really that good this year, or the teams that they've been playing, are they that bad? And even the quarterbacks, obviously the Ravens didn't have Jackson. Cincinnati obviously had Joe Burrow, but it was a rusty Cincinnati team due to the lack of playing time during the exhibition season. So you have to kind of, as I always say, you have to take the blinders off, separate the weeds. Is this really a good, cohesive defense? I don't think it is, okay? But having said that, Carolina isn't the greatest offense. I was never a Sam Darnold fan. However, I am impressed with the way they are trying to run the ball more. They had over 220 yards rushing last week. I like Deonta Foreman. Chuba Hubbard's not bad. And a young man, he's got some explosiveness in him. And I think he's going to see the ball not only carrying the ball, but out of the backfield. And that's Raheem, his last name. Blackshear, I believe his name is.
Right.
And I like him. So I think what Carolina's offensive game plan is going to be is what all quarterbacks anymore seem to be: manage the game. Okay, Sam Darnold managed the game. They don't have McCaffrey anymore as a key or a safety valve, but I think that Carolina is going to, the wide receiver wise, DJ Moore is nice. Terrace Marshall is a bigger play guy. I don't know how much he's going to enter into it. And I think whenever you have a game manager like this, you're going to probably hit the tight ends more like Ian Thomas and Tommy Tremble. So I think you're going to see guys like some balls out of the backfield. Some running backs going to receive balls out of the backfield, and tight ends. I think they'll try to open it up a little bit with Marshall and Moore. But I think it's going to be more of a ground and pound and ground, whatever they say, for Carolina. And the Steelers are just going to have to realize that and say to themselves, I want Sam Darnold to beat us. If he can beat us, you get the game. We're going to key on those running backs. And I think that's what the game plan has to be.
Yeah, you're right. Daddy Kingslayer agrees the teams are that bad. Yeah, they've been catching a break on the schedule recently. Now, when I look at the Steelers D versus the Panthers offense, Sam Darnold, I'm not impressed with him. He lost his job earlier in the year. An injury got him his job back. I think we can pressure him. He's another guy. He'll turn the ball over. He'll take sacks. He doesn't make good decisions. So we got to ride him, get to him early. They have Foreman. I thought Foreman was going to be great coming out of Texas. Didn't live up to the hype at Houston. Now he's on his second team, and we'll see what happens. But I'm not afraid of him coming out of the backfield. Terrence Marshall Jr. is another receiver, solid rookie, good speed. But their guy's DJ Moore. He's been there for a couple years. He's a playmaker. Not really afraid of their tight end, Ian Thomas. So I give a slight advantage to the Steelers' defense. I don't think the Panthers' offense is going to be able to put up the 30 that they put up on Seattle last week, where they pulled that upset. I just don't see it. I don't think there's a lot of explosiveness on offense. Their offensive line is average at best. But I give the Steelers' defense an advantage over the Panthers' offense in this matchup. I'll turn it over to our offense versus the Panthers. I kind of give the advantage to the Panthers' defense. They turned the ball over against Geno Smith last week. They did some nice things. Geno Smith was having almost a Pro Bowl type season. I mean, he was one of the top ranked quarterbacks. They brought him back down to earth, and they don't have a lot of great playmakers on that D that are known. The Shaq Lawson, the different players they have. I give the advantage to the Panthers defense because Mitch, 3 interceptions. He had to split reps with Mason Rudolph. He doesn't have much confidence, so he's going to be very timid. Not many throws in the middle. I think he's going to look for one-on-one coverages on the outside and just throw it up and hope Pickens and Johnson are having a good day. But I kind of give the Panthers defense the advantage just because offensively, we don't know which Mitch is going to show up. Is Najee Harris going to be able to run the ball? I don't think he's going to have a great game against the defense. Another low-scoring game. If they can limit the turnovers, we have Mitch Trubisky back there, I think we'll be okay. But I'm worried about his confidence. He didn't look sure afterwards. Mason's dressing. Every interception he's going to be looking to see if he's going to be on the sideline, getting taken out. So, yeah, I definitely give the advantage to the Panthers defense. Claudio?
Well, that's a tough call, which one you give the advantage to. The Steelers, in my opinion, without question, have the more talented side. There's much more talent on the Steelers side offensively, in my opinion, than the Carolina defensive side. If they use Trubisky properly, do some bootlegs, I'm okay. I want him to open it up a little bit deep, okay? Hit the middle. But I've said week after week after week, I will always, until I don't know what I'm going to give up on Najee Harris, but I still think he's the guy who you need to give him 20-plus carries, 22 carries a game, 5 catches out of the backfield. I think that guy still can be a Pro Bowl caliber running back. But you have to use him. You have to let him get to – if they did this with Barry Sanders, sometimes he would get -1, 3 yards, 2 yards, 60 yards. Give the guy the ball. I'm not comparing him to Barry Sanders, but I'm saying give Najee Harris the ball. I mean, what do you have to lose? Let's find out who he is, okay? Give him the ball 23-plus times. Throw him the ball 4 or 5 times out of the backfield. Carolina's defense, again, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game as well. We'll get to that later. I don't know if you're going to give the credit to the Carolina defense or the lack of creativity or execution on the Steelers' end. But again, I would use Najee more, and I would have Trubisky use – he's got a big arm. Okay, fine, go deep a little bit to open things up in the middle, but have him run the ball. I would have him carry the ball, run the ball 7 to 10 times. Okay, so between him and Najee Harris, run the ball 30 times plus, and throw Warren in there once in a while, and just run the ball, keep the defense off the field. Carolina's offense isn't explosive to begin with. If you run the ball well, that helps the defense, and I think the Steelers could pull it off, but we'll get to that in a minute. But as far as who has the advantage, boy, I'm going to say Carolina because I don't know if Canada will implement what I just said.
Okay. Frank Jackson. What's up, Frank? Mitch is a no chance. All right. He also says Najee is just an average running back, nothing special. Hits the hole too slow and terrible vision. Wow. Not a Najee fan. I think Najee's a solid running back. I'm not as high on him as I was last year. I'd like to see Jalen Warren get a little more carries as well. But an average running, he's better than the average running back. He's not, the top of the class, the Derrick Henrys or nothing, but he's a solid running back. But I think they were expecting more when they drafted out of the first round. But offensive line has been playing better as of late, Claudio, even though they got Kenny Pickett knocked out in the last one. I know you're not high on Kenny Pickett, and he's starting to show some durability issues. What is this, a second or third time getting knocked out? Claudio, Hundley took a vicious hit, and he played yesterday. He didn't play well, but Kenny Pickett got slammed to the ground, didn't come back, out again. What are your thoughts? KP, is he going to have some issues with durability?
When you have that size, he's not a big guy, he's not a thick guy, and his game is to move a little bit, you're going to run that risk, okay? But a lot of it, in all honesty, and I hate to throw it to this, but a lot of it is luck. You get a guy like Fran Tarkenton, who was not a big guy. How many games did he miss? So, and he ran around with the best of them, all right? Randall Cunningham was a runner. I don't think he missed a lot by injury. Steve Young. Well, Steve Young was a pretty thick guy. Jim Zorn way back. He was a scrambler. He didn't miss many due to injury. I think some of it is just bad luck. So hopefully he gets better luck.
All right, and let's see. Kingslayer, after multiple concussions, Kenny Pickett is possibly not going to be able to cut the NFL mustard. Trubinsky and Rudolph are not going to work out either. They should push Najee Harris a little more. I don't know how much more you want to put. They ran him into the ground last year so much he came into this year injured.
I agree with that, Kingslayer. As far as the quarterback situation with the Steelers, they didn't plan on him getting hurt. As we all know, I wasn't a fan of drafting him number 1. Number 2 or 3, yes. 3 especially, but not 1. But he's here, But you know what, though? These things, again, I don't know the exact thing here, Luther, but Sidney Crosby was getting some concussions, and he missed some games. And then they were worried about his career. And now look at him at age 35. He's tearing it up. So, it depends. Again, a lot of it is luck. And how you get hit, how you fall. And as far as Najee Harris, again, I really, really believe, and I hate to date myself every show, Lawrence McCutcheon of the 70s. Lawrence was a great running back for 5 years with the LA Rams where Chuck Knox was there. He was one of the top 3-4 backs in the league. Najee Harris reminds me of him. And they just have to use him properly. Don't just give him 4 or 5 carries, sit him down like they did last year. I like the way they used him last year. And I don't see why they can't do that again. I still think he has a chance to be a Pro Bowl player. Back to Pickett, he just has to have better luck. It's that simple.
All right. Let's see. Back in the comment section, Frank Jackson, Pickett seems a little soft, stays hurt. This is his 3rd concussion. Damn. He's had quite a few concussions in limited time. It's rookie year. He's getting hit a lot harder, getting hit a lot more than he did at Pitt. So it's an adjustment. Hopefully he's not able to take those big hits next year. But yeah, these concussions are starting to be concerning because why he's getting hit and slammed. It's not blindsided. So we'll see. Hopefully he's able to come back stronger. Next week he'll be able to come back. But did you think he was going to play this week, Claudio?
No, I don't think he is. And some people were even saying that maybe.
No, I'm saying when he got hurt last week, did you think he would miss 2 games?
You know what? With the NFL and the concussion protocol, yeah, I kind of figured he would.
I can't believe Huntley came back yesterday. He probably should have stayed out because he took a vicious hit from.
Look what they did. Look what they did with Tua.
Yeah.
So I think each team runs it the way they do, but me personally, I would think as a player first. Because the player is always going to say, I'm ready. The player is always going to be a competitor, and he's going to want to go out there for his teammates and for his career. But if I was them, I would definitely not. I would have sat him to say I would not have played Huntley.
Yeah, I'm shocked he played. All right, Claudio, there's one more we got to get to. Hey, guys, I'm at the game in Charlotte with the family. Go Steelers. All right, Terry. Terry's game.
That's right. Terry's from out that way. Yeah. Oh, wait, he's from down the street from me, but he's living in Carolina.
Oh, man, that's nice. All right, enjoy the game. Hopefully you can bring a victory. Bring no interceptions from Mitch. Tell him to keep that stuff in Pittsburgh or wherever he left them.
That's right.
Maybe you have a good game, man. Hey, as we get ready to wrap up, fantasy, sit or start. Claudio. Let's start off with your boy. You're still high on him. Najee Harris. Sit or start?
Play him. Start him.
Start him?
Yes, sir.
I say start him as well. I think he's going to get the ball quite a bit in the backfield, out of the backfield. I think he'll have about 80 to 90 yards combined, and I think he does get a touchdown. One of our 2 touchdowns, possibly. George Pickett. Sit or start, Claudio?
Start him.
I say start him too. Mitch was throwing the ball up to him earlier in the game, and he was able to make some plays when he got in there, but then he disappeared from the game plan. Didn't see him pouting on the sidelines. That might have been a game to pout a little bit, the way Mitch was just forcing it in the freer move. So I say start him. Sit this man. Don't start Deontay Johnson. Still has yet to score a touchdown. There's backup running backs and fullbacks and tight ends that have more touchdowns in one game than he has all year. I say sit him. I had him on one of my teams. I had to force him in, and he got me knocked out of the playoffs. I say sit him. Terrible year. Not a great attitude. They asked him who he wanted to start this week. He said Mason Rudolph. Not something you want a receiver to do. Just say whoever's playing the best is going to get the start. So, if I'm Mitch, I'm looking Pickens' way 3 and 4 times before I slide over to Deontay drops. And what about you, Claudio?
I agree with everything you said.
Okay. How about move? Mitch was trying to force it in twice and got 2 picks over the middle of the field. What do you think about prayer move?
I think he'll get the most targets today, which means he'll probably have the most receptions, especially in the red zone if they get, which I think they'll get there. I say start him.
Yeah, I think he'll have a decent game as well. Great hands. He's another one you got to worry. A lot of concussions his first couple years. So if he stays healthy, I think he can get us 8 catches, maybe 50 yards, or maybe, in the end zone, he catches everything in the end zone. So
Luke,
yes.
You and I are starting to get like Kelly Russell on this show now.
We're agreeing too much, Claudio, too much. All right, how about Jaylen Warren? I think he'll get enough carries. I think he's going to split some time. He's just a tough runner, hard to bring down. Runs great in between the tackles. He hits the hole a lot faster than Najee. And when he gets in there and does well, Najee comes in there and gives 110%. I'd like to see him get about 8 rushes, maybe 3 receiving passes. Got to get him in there more. But I'm going to sit him because I think they're going to use Najee 90% of the time still. How about you, Claudio?
Again, I agree with everything you said. I think they should utilize him like you said. But I can't go off of what I said about Najee. 22, 23 carries plus. I don't think that you put Warren in hoping for a splash play here and there, especially out of the backfield. But I would sit him.
Okay. All right. How about Sam Denard? Claudia, what are your thoughts? Claudia?
Sit him. Definitely. Sit him. I don't think he's going to – if you have 3 solid backs, use them. I think if he throws any more than 20 times, that means that they're down a lot of points. But I sit him.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I say sit him too. You never know what he's going to do. I mean, he had a decent game last week. Now he's probably due for a bad game. I say sit him. How about the rookie receiver, Terrence Marshall Jr.? Claudia, you play him or you sit him as well?
He's more of a big play guy. Again, home run guy, 18 yards per catch. You know what? I think he's going to get a touchdown today.
Okay.
Yardage, I start him. Start him.
Yeah, I say sit him. I don't think he's going to have a great game. He may make a couple plays down the field, but I don't see him having a great game against us. All right. Frank Jackson, play Warren more. Najee is basic as heck. Wow, not a Najee fan, Frank. All right. All right, now they have another receiver, DJ Moore. Now, Moore has made some big plays. He's been there a couple years. I think he's going to have a decent game. Not a great game because I don't think Denard's going to be great. You know, in a 3-receiver league, I'd start him as my 3rd receiver. I think he'll have a solid game. I would probably start him. Claudio?
I don't think he'll get enough opportunities to have a big game, so I say sit him.
Okay. Ian Thomas, the tight end. Claudio, what do you think?
I say play him because, again, especially with Miles Jack hurt or starting a rookie, I believe, the linebacker Mark Robinson. And, you know, Bush, I'm not crazy about him. I think start the tight end, yes, definitely.
Okay. All right. And the running back. Foreman's going to get probably most of the starts. We'll see Hubbard and Raheem Blackshear as well. Do you start any of the running backs, Claudio?
The problem with the 3 backs, I think they may split a lot of carries. I would personally just pound the ball with Foreman. Again, they had 220 last week as a team, 220 yards rushing as a team. You know what? I'm going to say start Foreman.
Okay. And Kingslayer says start Carolina D. Okay. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea the way Mitch has been throwing those interceptions around, Claudio.
I agree with Kingslayer.
He hasn't been sharp with the ball at all. So what about you? Would you start the Carolina D, Claudio?
Yeah, I agree with Daddy Kingslayer. They'll get some turnovers. Plus, I do not see unlike Smokin Jim, I do not see a 35, 45, 55-point game.
Right. How about the Steelers D? Do you start the Steelers D?
Yes, because as I will say in my score, I don't predict a high-scoring game.
Yeah, I like that too. I think the Steelers D is going to be able to cause some turnovers. Sam Darnold hasn't looked great most of his career. I think he's lacking confidence. I think we could pressure him. And I say definitely start Steelers D in this game. All right, we have a couple more comments we want to get to, Claudio. All right, and we have Frank Jackson. He says start Steelers D. All right, yeah, I definitely agree. All right, let's get to the last part. Any bold predictions, Claudio, for this game?
Bold predictions. I don't know how bold it is, but I think, like you said, Trubisky's going to be looking over his shoulder. I think Mason Rudolph will get some playing time today. I don't know how bold that is, but I think he's going to get some playing time.
That really bold, Claudio. I think the same thing, though. My bold statement is, man, I kind of think this got to be a breakout game for one of the young stars, man. I think George Pickens going to get about 4 deep balls this game. The weather's not going to be bad like it is here. No snow. He should be able to get loose this one. I think he'll be matched up one-on-one. It's time for him to have a big game, 100 yards, one or 2 touchdowns. Let this guy go. Throw him some deep balls. He wants the ball. He's our big-time play receiver. Make it happen. I'm tired of this, Mitch staring down guys in the middle with 4 guys around trying to force it in. Make the easy read. So I say George Pickett's going to have that. All right,
hey, Lou, I'm going to – that was a weak bold prediction on my end. I'm going to make a bold prediction. Smokin Jim will be on the show next week. That's my bold prediction.
Even more bold, maybe Smokin Jim will be on time for one of our shows this week. We got enough of them. Hey, all right, Claudio, final score. Oh, look, hold on real quick. Daddy Kingslayer, very bold. Najee, 100 yards.
Yeah, I'm with that. I like that. I almost said that. Because I've been with Najee. I like that.
Okay.
So I'll 3 bold statements. Rudolph's going to play Najee 100 and Smokin Jim on next week. I'm going to go with Carolina 19, Steelers 17.
Oh, wow. Okay. I also see a low-scoring game. I'm calling a 17-13 win for the Steelers. Very low-scoring, a lot of turnovers, not much offense. It's whose defense can maybe score might be the difference, because I don't see either offense doing big numbers. 17-13, that's my prediction. Hey, Jim, I don't know what happened. I think he ran out of his Obama phone minutes, didn't jump in. Or maybe he was up partying with a couple Steel City beauties too late, Claudio. I'm not sure. But, hey, I want to thank all the guys for jumping in. Daddy Kingslayer, Frank Jackson, Terry French, and everybody else. That's our show for you. Claudio, any last thoughts?
I always appreciate you guys making comments. Tell your friends about the show. We want even more listeners and watchers and comments. Thank you.
Hey, definitely. All right, for the Hall of Famer, Claudio Rosaner, I'm Luther Dupree, and we will check you out next time. Peace.